So this is a film by Fisher Stevens, best known for his many acting roles over the years. I mean, even if you don't recognize the name, I can almost guarantee you've seen him in something. But this time he steps behind the camera and recruits Justin Timberlake to play the main character. And I hadn't seen Justin in anything since 2017's Wonder Wheel, which also happens to be the last live-action movie he appeared in. And even though he did a number of decent movies earlier on, like Alpha Dog and The Social Network, he hasn't really done that much in the way of acting in the last decade. But I don't know, I've always liked him. I don't think he's a phenomenal actor necessarily, but he's good. So I was curious to see what he would do with something like this, which is essentially a drama. Although what kind of drama it was, I didn't know because I knew nothing about the story going in. And this turned out to be something very different from what I was expecting. However, it did start off very similar to what I expected and then sort of veered off a bit later into an unexpected direction. And what we have here is essentially a story about a guy getting out of prison after an extended stay, and he goes back to his hometown to live with his grandma while attempting to get back on his feet. And yeah, the story is very much about him trying to leave his past behind and start over. However, there are complications, but they're not the kind you'd expect from a movie like this. But you know what? I very much liked where this story went. I liked it a lot. And a lot of it had to do with the writing that was just very solid. But a lot also had to do with the kid, Sam, played by Ryder Allen too. Because he was just straight up adorable and virtually impossible to dislike. And his character had a lot to do with the unexpected turns in the story. But he also gave it a lot of extra depth and brought in some interesting themes as well. And I very much liked all of that stuff. It made the movie compelling and kept it interesting. Because let's be honest, there's been a lot of movies with a similar premise before. A guy gets out of jail and tries to stay on the straight and narrow, but there's always trouble brewing. It's been done many times before, but this one found a different take on that premise. One that actually reminded me of a very good movie, Gifted, with Chris Evans. And while I probably liked that one even more, I still like this one a fair bit too. And it's not like this one felt derivative either. They are similar, but still very different. I also basically had very few issues with this movie in general. I liked just about everything about it. Now, I don't think it does anything mind-blowing, but what it does fairly well. However, I do have to say that the ending, the way it wrapped everything up, felt very convenient. You basically could see the writing oozing out of the screen, coming straight at you yelling, I'm here, I'm a written piece of fiction. I mean, it was just a little bit too much. They could have found a slightly more, I don't know, balanced approach. And there is an art to that sort of thing, because while this definitely did remember to wrap everything up, it didn't just leave any plot lines hanging, but the way it went about it felt a bit too neat, in my opinion. Real life just never works that way, and that kind of took me out of it at the last second. But at the same time, that is basically my only real complaint about the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it otherwise. So all things considered, I think this one deserves something like a solid 7. Boop. But should you check it out? Yeah, probably. I think a lot of people will like it. Or, you know, you could also not do that. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic.